Barber Civil 101 back on YouTube. And for anybody that was unfortunate, we'll say, to have missed UFC Dublin, it was McGregor versus Diego Brandao. Conor, the notorious one, McGregor, in the hometown of Dublin, Ireland. Originally slated to face Cole Miller. Cole Miller pulls out. The American top team prodigy faced injury about halfway into this whole main event deal. They exchanged words early. Conor McGregor is on fire right now. His stock's on fire. This kid looks better every time he goes in. His striking is just incredible. The angles he cuts are spectacular. I have no doubt in my mind that someday soon, in the next year, maybe 2 years, Conor McGregor will someday hold that UFC belt. There's no doubt in my mind that he and Jose Aldo have a date. No doubt. Maybe the end of next year, early 16 is my prediction, but that's not either here nor there. He was slated to face Diego Brandao, the Ultimate Fighter season 14 winner, I believe, 16 winner, in Ireland. Gunnar Nelson, Conor's training partner, was a co-main event. Zach Cummings, the opponent, beat him down by submission round 2. Conor McGregor makes it look easy. Literally walks through Diego Brandao and stops him in the first round as he had predicted for months. Stops him TKO, which is his second TKO in 3 fights in the UFC. And stops Brandao easily. Didn't even break a sweat in the first round. Walks out of the cage and signs to fight in September on the UFC 178 pay-per-view card, Jones versus Gustafsson 2. Now, on that card is the return of Dominic Cruz. He's taking on Takei Mitsugaki. Sick card. Tim Kennedy versus Yo Romero, that beastly wrestler. At middleweight, I don't even know how he makes 185. He's just ridiculously huge. Kat Zingano makes her return against Nunes, just incredible. And then you got Conor McGregor versus Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Now, Poirier is a long, rangy fighter from American top team, same as Cole Miller. He's a teammate, a close one at that. His ground game is incredible, something we really haven't seen from Conor McGregor. Now, Conor McGregor, for me, he's up there, like top 5 for me. I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan of Conor McGregor. He will be champ one day. But Diego Brandao's one thing, and then you got Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Dublin's one thing on Fight Pass, and pay-per-view's another thing. So we'll see how Conor McGregor fares, in this quick turnaround and, being on pay-per-view. But another thing I wanted to touch on was what was really hard for me to find was the fighter salaries, the payout, because this fight was on Fight Pass, and it wasn't so easy this time to find exactly what the fighters made. The salaries certainly weren't posted right away, but I did find them. I did find somewhat, and it looks sad to say the least. Now, given that the UFC released some whispers that their company is worth $3.5 billion dollars. The UFC is worth $3.5 billion. I don't know if anyone out there knows what a billion means, but a billion is 1 billion is just, you can't spend that much, man. Nobody needs $1 billion, they're part of like they're just so big. And to send someone home, one of their fighters, one of their own, one of their people, with something that looks like this, they sent, with $3,000, send someone home. See, this is a UFC Dublin card. Brandao, $23,000. Pickett, $23,000. Norman Park from the Tough Smashes series, $15,000. McGregor himself only goes home with $12,000 to the show, $12,000 to win, and then of course, for the first round TKO, which he predicted, he gets the performance bonus of $50,000. It was in US dollars and not euros. Ian McCall goes home with $9,000. There are 2 asterisks by it, so it must mean something. Zach Cummings, $8,000. This poor soul gets $3,000. And Gunnar Nelson, they did not report Gunnar's salary. So It was very difficult to even find that. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but if a huge star like Conor, especially on the rise like he is, he actually called Cole a jobber. A jobber meaning you're put there to lose, so my stock goes up. Your time has come and gone. You know what you're here for. You're here to make me look good, son. Called him a jobber early on. He's going to fight his teammate in Dustin the Diamond Poirier. I'm telling you, it's not going to be as easy as it was Brandao. But do not bet against Conor McGregor anytime soon. Hopefully, this travesty will not happen once he's on pay-per-view. Once he's on pay-per-view, I'm sure that he will be walking home with a lot more than 24,000 if he wins. Even if he doesn't, he should go home with a lot more than that. This is disgusting. This fighter pay. This is why Nate Diaz doesn't have a fight right now. When you're worth $3.5 billion, no one should be going home with $3,000, $3 grand, a $3,000 check. He's Japanese, lives in Japan. He has to go from one side of the planet to the other to fight, and then go back to the other side of the planet for $3 grand. Not worth the trip. But this fighter salary, people sit around and bitch and moan. A Nate Diaz, he's not in the fight game right now, and but what can we do about it? What can we do as fans to help solve this problem that the fighters are having, that we're having? We're not getting to see our fighters in the octagon, in the cage. We're not getting to see the matchups we want because the fighters aren't getting paid what they need, what they want for their families, for their camps, for their coaches, for themselves, for their bills, for their livelihood. Shit. I mean, it's embarrassing to go home with $3 grand. That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. For a while, Conor McGregor was the #1 Google searched person in Europe. Fuck you, Beckham. Fuck you, GSP. The #1 Google search man in Europe. It's crazy, right? Come on. $12,000 a show, $12,000 to win. Yes, he went home with $50K. Only because he knocked the guy out in the first round. Something's got to give with the fighter's salary. It starts with Dana White, Lorenzo Fertitta, Frank Fertitta. It starts with the $3.5 billion the company's worth and growing daily because of the performances your fighters put on. What can we do? Write in the comment section. Hit me up. Power Civil 101.